We like to think that we live in a nice, safe neighborhood. The truth is that a burglary occurs every 13 seconds, and homes without a security system have a 300% greater chance of getting broken into. How many homes in your neighborhood were robbed yesterday? You need to start protecting your home and family today. Call now to get state-of-the-art protection. To keep your family and property safe, call the number on your screen now. Representatives are standing by to assist you.
Turnpike Sports Book Report.
The Turnpike Sports Book Report is brought to you by BorgataSports.com. Your favorite casino is now your favorite sportsbook. Available anywhere in New Jersey, BorgataSports.com. Sign up at BorgataSports.com using our promo code PIKE, that's P-I-K-E. Make your first wager of $20 or more and you'll get $100 in free bets. That's $100 in free bets when your first wager on Borgata Sports is $20 or more. Get into the action with BorgataSports.com. Must be 21 years or older and in New Jersey to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This week's Turnpike Sports Book Report is really more heavy on legislation and deals than it is sports betting numbers in terms of handle and revenue, as well as launches. So before we get into all the deals, all the legislations, let's hit some of the numbers.
Okay.
We got two states going in opposite directions.
Okay.
How about that? Iowa and Oregon. Oregon, they had an April handle of $25.32 million. That's an increase of almost 100% from the month before.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, that's a huge jump.
In April, what's going on in April in Oregon? I mean, I guess basketball and baseball heats up in Oregon, and I'm trying to, when you do these states, I'm trying to figure out any local things happening there that really boosts their sports betting numbers.
Well, even their numbers, their revenue was up to $2.73 million. That was only up 5%. Nothing compared to almost 100% for handle. But top sports, and this goes to what you had just mentioned. This is by handle. Basketball with $13.6 million, baseball with $4.25 million, soccer $2.61 million.
Okay.
Revenue, basketball led as well.
And of course, it's April, so it's all pro basketball.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Number of bets totaled 760,000. The average wager for the state was $33.31.
I love it when a state puts out that stat. What's the average bet a person makes?
Well,
not a lot of states do that, right?
Well,
just a few of them do.
Since we're dealing with Oregon, this
right.
is one of two states where you have to mention one specific sport.
Oh, is that my
blows
favorite
my
sport?
mind still.
One of my favorite sports, huh?
Table tennis.
Table tennis. All right. That in Colorado, right? They're big in table tennis.
Yes. Table tennis was sixth in terms of handle this month. Past month, I should say. 729,000, just under 730,000. It was fourth in revenue, $65,600, and had a hold of almost 9%.
Have we checked on, Nevada and New Jersey, how table tennis is doing in those two states? And Pennsylvania, too's up there with one of the top gaming markets. How is table tennis doing in the top echelon of gaming markets?
The one thing, other than some of these other states like Oregon and Colorado, table tennis sometimes falls into that other category. So that's lumped in with a lot of MMA, a lot of...
The one thing I'm thinking of, table tennis, it kind of the same thing as soccer. Soccer is a much, much more popular sport. But table tennis usually comes from overseas. And people who want to bet in the morning, maybe they jump on the table tennis action because, 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, there's really not a whole lot of sports to bet on.
So you have your morning coffee and your morning
wager?
wager?
You go. Well, hey, someone's like the action in the early morning.
Well, just so you know, and I just saw this in one of... it's a couple different reports. There is a table tennis league that just did a new media deal overseas.
Wow. Okay.
So you may start seeing some more betting.
All right.
But let's go over to Iowa. This is going the opposite direction than Oregon.
Okay.
They had an April handle of $118 million, the largest single month-to-month drop in terms of money. The handle was 26% lower than March's handle. Now, March also was a record.
Well, so March had, the gambling event of the year, and that's March Madness. So, I think once we get closer to football season, I think you're going to see those numbers in Iowa switch direction.
I think all the books are going to go up.
Oh,
when football
yeah,
comes
course,
around again.
But,
And also, I notice is a big betting event are the NBA playoffs. That's a lot of betting.
Oh, sure.
So that's coming around the bend here.
So yeah, you might see something there.
But it was
and
also
hockey's coming up too. Hockey playoffs and things like that. Nothing like hockey playoffs.
And baseball's just getting started.
Sure.
So you got a long way to go for them. But this was the lowest handle since December of 2020. $104.8 million was that low point in December. Let's see. Revenue of just over $7 million, dropped 42% from March.
Okay.
Again, that was an all-time record there, too, for revenue, $13.5 million.
In March.
Yeah. For revenue. Hold of 6.5%, almost 2 points lower than the previous month, 8.3%.
Okay.
So, again, sportsbooks gave a lot back.
Yeah.
Or you could say the bettors did better.
Yeah.
In April.
No,
I don't know. I don't know what really affected all of this, but again, I think it's a matter of, I think you're right, college basketball, that betting was incredible. As a matter of fact, Play USA Network reported that the national handle for March Madness is going to be about $1.56 billion this year.
You mean the next March Madness coming up?
No, this March Madness.
This March Madness, okay.
Brought in $1.56 billion.
Okay.
Because if you look at the numbers...
Well, you got to remember, I mean, we didn't have March Madness the year before because of the pandemic, so everyone was all pent up and they wanted to bet March Madness, and, it's absolutely incredible, though.
Well, if you look at the numbers for March Madness, Nevada brought in $360 million in handle. That was the lead for all states. New Jersey brought in $275 million. Illinois brought in $176.8 million. They reported that exact number. Mm-hmm. And 7 states brought in over $100 million.
Wow, that was great.
So $1.56 billion. That's actually pretty, pretty significant number there.
That is the betting event of the year
so far, other than the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And Tennessee, their entire sports betting market is passing the $1 billion handle mark.
Wow! Congratulations, Tennessee.
So they've been averaging about $180 million since November 1st through the end of March. The books had about $900 million in handle on the books. So if they average $180 million, April numbers are going to push it over anyway.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't reported their April numbers. And speaking of Tennessee, in terms of approved events for betting, I should say, that's how they phrase it.
All right.
Now, everyone's got MMA. Tennessee has MMA. Tennessee is the first state that, legalized or approved betting on a local MMA promotion.
Wow, great.
Showcase MMA.
Great. Hey, all right.
They're a local group out of Tennessee. They actually have their own little streaming channel. And the big backer of all this was Tennessee Action 24/7.
Great. Which, by the way, is
back up and running.
Is local.
Up and running.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great. I like Tennessee Action 24/7. They're up and running again, and they're local, and they're from Tennessee, and they're run by people from Tennessee, which is great.
Yep. Going over to the legislative side. Got a couple different things here. I know we're going to talk about Ohio, which threw out their first sports betting bill. Very interesting bill, by the way. Let's talk with New Jersey first. New Jersey had a Tourism, Gaming, and Arts Commission hearing, meeting, whatever you want to call them, in the Assembly, New Jersey Assembly.
Yeah.
They had a bill or resolution to discuss. It was ACR 200, which amends the New Jersey State Constitution to permit wagering through casinos and sports books and horse tracks to allow people to bet on any New Jersey collegiate team.
For people listening out there, New Jersey has a rule that we cannot place a bet on any local college or university in our state if you're in New Jersey. They also have a rule where you cannot place a bet on any activity or a gaming activity or a collegiate activity that happens in the state.
Yes.
So,
that's
a crazy rule. I don't know.
It affects a lot of the March Madness betting in New Jersey.
Sure, absolutely. Atlantic City had a NCAA tournament
Couldn't
in
bet
the
on it.
convention center, and no one can bet on it in New Jersey because it was a collegiate activity happening in the state of New Jersey. So, you had this basketball tournament happening in Atlantic City with 9 sports books sitting around it, and you couldn't bet on it.
Well, this bill or resolution moved forward on a 7-0 vote. That's how serious the assemblymen are taking this.
Absolutely. It should be gone.
And as soon as this
costs a lot of money,
this is going to move forward, it still has to go through a couple more steps. But if it makes it through the next couple of steps and gets onto the November ballot, there's a possibility that New Jerseyans, New Jersey natives, whatever you want, people in New Jersey, will be able to bet on New Jersey collegiate athletics as well as collegiate tournaments in the state by March Madness again.
So we're not talking about college football. Yeah, it's not going to be ready by college football. You're not going to. If I'm sitting in New Jersey, I'm not placing a bet on Rutgers or Princeton or anything like that. Or okay.
But again, this is all March Madness is like the benchmark, like the Super Bowl is.
Yeah. That's one of the benchmarks that every sport book shoots for. It's either the start of the NFL season, the Super Bowl, or March Madness.
That's it. There's 3 benchmarks right there. Yeah. Start of the NFL season, Super Bowl, and March Madness. Going over to Washington State, the only reason I'm mentioning Washington State, we now have the second Native American tribe doing a new compact with the state.
Great.
It still has to go through all the steps in terms of ratification and federal approval and all that. But I thought it was kind of interesting that the compact will allow betting on professional and collegiate sports as well as Olympic Games and esports competitions. That's fine, provided all of that the esports competitions take place on site at authorized tribal casinos.
Okay.
Now, the way that's phrased, I know they meant to say the betting has to occur on the property,
not the event.
Not the event. Okay, so I just want to. It was just kind of weird the way that was put out there by the media and a lot of other places, but the betting has to be on the tribal lands, which is normal for tribal compacts.
Sure. Absolutely.
Let's get to Ohio. Ohio has introduced SB 176. Now, SB does not stand for sports betting. That's Senate Bill 176. They're proposing 40 3-year licenses for sports betting in the state.
Wow.
You're talking 20 for Type A, which is the casinos, horse tracks, that sort of existing gaming industry structure. And then another 20 for sports bars and other places that want to offer sports betting on a retail side as well.
I got to tell you, Ohio would be such a great sports betting market. It's got 2 really big cities, Cincinnati and Cleveland. It's a lot of sports fans out there. I mean, we were out in Sharon, Pennsylvania, which is very close to Ohio.
It's right on the border.
Yeah,
almost.
I mean, it's one of those things where, when there's Sundays in NFL season, it's insane out there. They love their football because, they have the Cleveland Browns, the Cincinnati Bengals, and, of course, the Pittsburgh Steelers. And it is just great sports fans out there, and I think sports betting will do amazing out there.
At some point, you might as well refer to Sharon as Sharon, Ohio. Yeah. The way some of those
is it that close?
It's very close. You're only a couple minutes away from Youngstown, which is another big sporting area, especially for college sports.
Oh my God! Can you imagine if you're on Ohio, the bets on Ohio State and things like that? Oh God!
Well, we'll see exactly what happens with this bill. It's another bill that everyone was like, "What?" when it came out, because they weren't expecting this type of bill. Also, one of the other additions to the bill was the Ohio State Lottery will not be running sports betting in the state. They won't be regulating it, but they can apply for a license.
Okay.
So they can apply for a license, and the bill also had electronic bingo in it to pass e-bingo in the state.
I got to tell you, I like kind of like the bingo because I think it's 90-ball bingo here in New Jersey.
That's different than regular bingo.
That's different than regular bingo?
That's
well, they call it
different than
90-ball bingo, and I played it a couple of times. You can win a lot of money with that.
Oh, yeah, no, that's a money winner.
It's one of those things where you buy, I think it's like 3 tickets for like 98 cents or something like that, and you play a game, and the 90 balls come out, and you see if you win. So.
Well, they have a bill now. It's tied in with the sports betting bill, and it's in there doing electronic bingo at veterans or fraternal organizations.
Okay.
So that's going to be kind of interesting to see that. And also, they also have a part of the bill that would study iLottery, online lottery.
Great.
So we'll see exactly where all this goes. This is first steps. More analysis is going to come out after this is aired anyway. So, Genius Sports did a deal with FanHub Media to bring up some more free-to-play games on their sportsbook.
Great.
Sportsbook offerings. It's all customer acquisition. It's, they have 2 new games. Let's see. They're going to be bringing in fantasy sports, trivia, bracket challenges, pick'em, polling games, which would complement their traditional sports betting options that they have across the world, really. That was their first acquisition as a public company. Better Collective, we all saw the news. They acquired Action Network for $240 million.
That's a great acquisition. I love Action Network because I have that on my phone, and it's just to track my bets. They have such a great feature that tracks your bets through the day. It's fantastic. I love Action Network.
Well, we're starting to see
for Better Collective.
We're starting to see a lot of these deals, doing the content/affiliate marketing way.
Yeah,
and it's great to see some of these things happen. I'm just wondering if the affiliate market is getting winnowed down a little bit. You're going to have, new and smaller areas smaller companies are going to have trouble getting the affiliate piece of the pie. I don't know.
I guess we'll see. I mean, there are a lot smarter people than us that are going to be analyzing these deals coming up. So,
FanDuel did a sports betting and fantasy sports partnership with The Ringer. They're going to be creating content with The Ringer for The Ringer's website. Mm-hmm. Catena Media acquired lineups.com, which, by the way, lineups.com is kind of an interesting site to take a look at. Have you ever looked at it?
I have not. I'll check it out.
It's a very interesting content site where they have articles, just like everybody else, podcasts and everything. But they have some interesting takes on some of the stories out there.
Great.
Let's see. Sport Radar extended the negotiating window for their acquisition agreement so that they can go public.
Okay.
They asked for more time. Let's see. Fox Corporation, this was another interesting one, acquired Outkick.
Okay, good.
Clay Travis's outfit.
So that's what it's called, Outkick. I know Outkick, the coverage.
That's the show.
So it's called Outkick. Okay, all right.
The one thing I thought was interesting, Outkick has an exclusive deal with FanDuel.
Okay.
And this is all happening at the exact time Fox is actually suing FanDuel, or Flutter, I should say, the parent company.
All right.
Over the stock acquisition.
Okay.
They've been in going back and forth in this arbitration. Fox is trying to purchase 18.5% of their FanDuel share. That was an option.
Okay.
And they can't agree on the purchase price.
All right. Okay.
Fox is saying it was at this price, but now that the price is up, Flutter wants to sell it at this price.
I mean, I see Clay Travis on Fox all the time with what is the show? The show with he's
Fox Bet Live.
Fox Bet Live. Okay, that's called Fox Bet Live. Okay, it used to be different.
It used to have some other name.
What was the name of that?
But now it's Fox Bet Live.
It's called Fox Bet Live. Okay.
Yeah. Chalkline Sports, Daniel Kostelski's great group out there. They're free-to-play mavens, really.
Yep.
They did a deal with the site. Let's see.
I see Cricket.com.
Cricket.com.
All right.
I couldn't see it in my notes. I don't know where it was. They did a deal with Cricket.com to do free-to-play sports betting games for the Cricket League.
Okay. For the Cricket League. Oh, okay. the sport we're talking about.
The
cricket.
Sport, cricket.
Okay.
Yes.
I could never bet on that because I just don't understand it.
I don't even know how they the time.
I mean, it is going to be huge overseas in England and the UK, but someone said those things can last for like days.
Yeah.
Cricket match can last for days.
Talk about a futures bet.
I
think every bet's a futures bet on cricket.
You know, when everyone was going out to bars and stuff like that before the pandemic, they had it. I was watching cricket at a sports bar because it was just on. I didn't tell them to turn it on. But, you know, I was watching. I was trying to understand it in a sports bar with the sound off, and I really just couldn't understand what everyone was doing.
And they play with a wooden ball, don't they, or something?
I have no idea. No idea.
But this is for the 2021 Indian Premier League season coming up for cricket.
Okay.
Caesars, they just announced a partnership with the Arizona Diamondbacks for sports betting access in Arizona. They're also going to build a first-class sportsbook and bar concept at the team's home, Chase Field.
You know, soon they're going to just have windows in the stadiums. You know, you go up for a beer, you go for a hot dog, and right next door are the betting windows. Why not just have that?
Well, they have that in D.C. The William Hill Sportsbook in the arena is right there. You go into the arena, and they have a set of windows.
They have a set of windows, but I mean, like facing.
Oh, you mean?
I mean, just like where you go up and get a beer or you go up and get a hot dog. Why not just next door just get the betting windows?
Or just
it's heading toward that.
Or just have the concession stands do combo packages: a beer, hot dog, and, a sports betting ticket.
Or have people
might as well do that.
Have people walking around taking bets, like they're get your beer here. You can do walk
do
around.
all that. Yeah, you're going to have somebody with a tablet going around.
Yeah, walking around with a tablet, taking your bets, so
printing out a ticket and giving it back to the person.
Yeah, so you don't have to move.
Yeah,
watch. We're saying this is going to happen.
Yeah. Oh no, it's definitely going to happen. Let's see. It's going to be a state-of-the-art sports book, sports bar, and broadcast studio in an area called the Game 7 Grill on the Plaza, which is in the stadium itself. So, and it's going to be across the street, supposedly, from the FanDuel book at the Phoenix Suns Arena. So, you're almost starting to see, like, the Philly complexes being mirrored in other states where the stadiums are all next to each other. Sports books.
Philadelphia is the only city in this country that has all its sports teams, professional sports teams, playing within the city limits. And they're all the stadiums are in one spot. I mean, they all share parking lots. That's why Philly Live, that new casino with the sports book, what a great spot that's in. You know, boy, you just talk about
with some of the rooms overlooking the field, too.
Talk about a great place to tailgate.
Last entry for this week's book report. Sport Radar.
We just did Sports Radar.
This is another one.
Radar. I keep saying Sports Radar.
They signed a memorandum of understanding with the General Directorate National Police of Bulgaria.
All right.
Strategic partnership to maintain sports integrity in the country.
Well, good for them. Boy, they're going right to the top.
I think that's the first one that did a deal with a police organization.
I guess.
So
I've never heard of it.
That's the end of the book report. Whatever we didn't hit in this week's book report is going to be in print form on the blog, turnpikesportsradio.com. Click on the blog. If you have any stories you want us to hit on in the book report, info@turnpikesportsradio.com.
That'll do it for us this week. We'll see you next time on the Turnpike.